list of projects you've worked on or um, past FTC seasons or pretty much anything that you want to store and be able to show off. Um, so a quick introduction into types of websites. There are static websites and then there are dynamic websites. Um, Static websites serve the same content all the time. They don't change any content at all. So no matter who is using it, no matter what you do, it'll show the same thing. It has the same information. So an example of this would be something like Wikipedia. Um, Wikipedia always has the same content. It always shows like the same text. Obviously, that can be edited, but if I go on Wikipedia, you go on Wikipedia, we look at the same page, it's going to show us the same results. There's no way to change that. And this is the type of website that is probably more useful to a lot of us, just because we don't need like when we want to show off project, when we want to show off previous FTC seasons and what we did. This is most useful just because it's always the same information. We might add more pages in the future, but the content itself is the same. The second type of website is a dynamic website. So this is just stuff that changes as you use it. Think of this as like apps. So you can have YouTube where it'll show videos, it'll play through videos. That changes. It could be a calculator app on the website, a graphing tool, any of those, because those dynamically change. Those are a lot more complicated, and I won't really get into that for the purposes of this. So in terms of actually setting up a simple website, there's a lot of options. I'm sure you guys have heard of some of them. Like there's Wix, there's WordPress, Squarespace, and you can even make your own custom website just by coding it, for example, using HTML and CSS. Each of these has their own benefits, but also disadvantages. So for things like Wix, it's really simple, which means it's great for setting it up quickly. It's a lot of drag and drop. You don't need to know coding. You don't need to learn a lot of the back end of website development. The bad part is it's really limited. You can pretty much only use like the widgets that Wix gives you. And then on the complete other end, you can write a custom CSS and HTML or code from scratch a website. This is really good because it gives you a lot of customization, but it's also really hard to do. There's a lot that goes into it. And it's really time consuming, which also isn't that good. So the method that I will be talking about more and demoing to you guys is using GitHub Pages. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, GitHub is a version control system based off of Git. It lets you control, it makes it easy for you to control your code in terms of creating different versions, creating backups, going to previous versions. That's a very quick breakdown of it. The nice thing about GitHub is that they let you host websites on it too. And there are tons of templates for these, which you can copy over and use up for your own website. But these templates are already built like pretty much fully in various code frameworks, which means that you have a lot of customization if you want to. You can go into the actual code and change, the layouts, change the actual code, and learn how that works. But you also don't need to. They make it very easy to work with without using code, and yeah, and I will now go through a quick demo of that, but 1 second. Sorry, give me a minute to set up my screen share. Okay. You guys, I believe my screen is being shared. Okay. So, um, yeah, I'm just searching up a theme right now that I want to use a simple template. Uh, go to this one, and you can find these templates online. You just Google GitHub Pages template, and there's like a million of them, so you have a lot of options to work from. But this is kind of like the documentation for it, showing different versions of the site, how you can set it up, different layouts, and you can have different color themes if you want like a dark mode or other colors, you can do that too. But in terms of getting it set up, all I need to do is fork it, and let's call it example site. And then take a few seconds. And then to actually publish the page, we just go to the settings and then GitHub Pages section, and we can deploy it. So now it does take a couple minutes to update, or usually not a couple minutes, usually like a minute to update, but you can see here that it's pending yet. But like in maybe half a minute, this page will be up and ready to work with. And the good thing about this is it's set up partly in website code like HTML and CSS, and then partly set up in just config files. And the config files are really, really easy to work with. And so as you can see, the template has like pretty much nothing in it. But if I wanted to change it, I can download the code. Let's open that folder actually. Yeah, and here we can see all of the files for that site, how it's set up. So if we just want to make quick changes, you can find the config file, scroll down to the actual site. Yeah. So we can see that this kind of matches up with like this part on the left. We have the site title, this description of I am an amazing person, and somewhere. So if we want to change this to Dallas, and we can change the description to like, for example, this is a test site, or name, Kyle. And we scroll through this, we can see that there's a lot of different options. We can put links here if we want to put another website, link it to social media pages. But yeah, this is set up in a pretty simple configuration file. It's very easy to work with, very easy to read. Let's see what else there is here. Yeah, let's just do that for now. So the only things we changed are the name, the bio, and the location. So that should update these three on the left. And then if we just push these changes to Git, it'll take another couple seconds to update the site. Should be done soon. In terms of doing this, there are ways to kind of launch it locally too, which makes it a lot faster to develop with because you don't need to wait for GitHub to build the site. I don't actually have that set up on this computer, so I can't do that right now. But Yep, it's up. The description matches what I wanted it to say. Kyle, this is a test site, location Dallas. Um, yeah. And then in terms of using this, they have a lot of documentation in terms of like if you want to add more pages, if you want to add more like notes in there, if you want to add blog posts, however you want to set it up. And it's all really easy. You'll use files similar to this, where it's just kind of like descriptive. You have a setting and then the value to it, or it's not like all HTML and CSS. So it's kind of you have access to the code if you want to, but it's not mainly through that. So for example, if I did want to change the code behind it and I wanted to learn that, I can go through these folders, and they have HTML in here, and layouts. Probably there's a bunch of CSS too. They want to change that. There's different skins. So these are like the skins that line up with these. They have the default 9 of them, but you can also change these if you wanted to. You can just change the colors here. It's very, very easy to work with. And the reason I chose this as a topic to kind of go through and demo and show you guys is that you get the benefits of having an easy and fast site to put up. But you also have the benefit of having the actual code to the site so that if you want to learn that, you can. If you want to go through that and change that, you also can. It's very, very customizable, but it's also not as difficult to set up as doing the pure code from scratch. These templates set up a lot of the backend for you, so they're easy to work with. And I can show you guys an example of my site that I've set up using this. This is just a portfolio site. You can see that I've changed quite a bit about it. I still have simple description on the left side, my name. This is not updated because I'm not in Illinois anymore, but I set this up when I was at school. It has my email, GitHub, LinkedIn, etc. There is an About Me page, which has a section for when I was in FTC. And then if you actually click into one of these posts, I have videos in here, I have descriptions, I have pictures. Yeah, so in total, this entire page took me about 1 day to set up. And that's only because I changed a lot of the code itself. I wanted a certain layout. But in the end, I was able to set up a code-based website very, very quickly. I basically did the same thing. I found a template I liked, I copied it over, and then I just started adjusting it and making changes. And then let me just show you guys what the actual changes, it looks like. So we still have like all of the same folders, but I made some pages here describing what I wanted to say. So in terms of code, it's not really code. It's more of like just text, right? Like if I put these side by side, you can see that it's pretty much just text, right? We have the title here, by Coffee Maker, which matches up with that. This project uses the blah, 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 blah. It's the same exact thing. This makes it really, really easy to set up and get another page going. If I wanted to add another post into this page, all I need to do is copy one of these files and rename it, and then just change the text. So yeah, that's all I had to present and show you guys. Are there any questions? I know that was a lot. and I skipped through a lot of things, but I believe I covered the basic setups and everything you need to know to kind of just get started. Uh, servers. Yeah. So in terms of deployment, um, free servers are generally not going to be as powerful. So if you have a lot of people visiting your site, it's probably not going to handle that well. Um, let's see. Share my screen again. Share. Okay, yeah. So, but back in here, if I wanted to use this setup, but host it on another server that's not GitHub, um, it's actually very easy to do. Settings and then pages, and then I can just put in the website name, and that will configure it from this side. Um, so from this perspective, these templates are still very good for that. You can put on your own website. You can see that on this test site, it's like it has the github.io in it and an example site. So maybe that if you want like a custom website name, that won't work, but you can still set it up to I guess show your website on a custom server, custom domain. But in terms of like actual examples of free servers, I don't really know any, especially since domains are generally not free. So if you want like, you know, examplesite.com, you can't find that for free anywhere. There might be some free hosting, but not that I'm aware of. I haven't really looked into it though. Uh, if there are no other questions, thank you guys for joining and listening.